Hello, and welcome to an episode of the Critic's Diaries, where we look at each episode of the Vampire Diaries, break it down, and I let you know my raw thoughts. Now, we are on episode 3, and the time in which I am filming this is the same day that I filmed my review of episodes 1 and 2 of the Vampire Diaries. If you are a fan of Vampire Diaries, let me know down below. If you are a fan of film, television shows, and novels, consider subscribing. With that said, let's jump into it. Now, episode 3 is when Elena returns to cheerleading, which is interesting because like she's not really that into it. And it's also the episode where Elena is inviting Bonnie and Stephan over for dinner because remember, like in the previous episode, Bonnie touched Stephan's hand and she had like that weird feeling, like she had a bad feeling about it. In episode 3, she explains to Elena that it felt cold, like she imagines the feeling like death, which was really interesting because as the episodes progress, we see that Bonnie and now Elena are getting suspicious of Stephan, and I think it's going to get to the point where they're going to figure out that he is a vampire. Now let's talk about Damon and Caroline. So, Damon and Caroline, they spent the night together in the previous episode. So, episode 3, Caroline and Damon are, I guess, an item. Although Damon is trying to avoid Caroline, which is something I found really funny. I know in the previous review I said I neither like dislike Caroline nor do I like Caroline. I think now I'm at a point where I'm like, I actually do like Caroline. Like she's still okay, but I'm more leaning towards liking Caroline. I still don't like Damon though. I get his heartbreak. I get the heartbreak, but yeah, no, I don't like Damon. Especially the part where he tries to hypnotize Elena to like get her to kiss him, and she just like nope, she slapped him, and I was just like, yes, do not fall for it, do not fall for Damon. I was so glad because like duh, she's with Stephan. But then she had that dream. There's a part in the episode where she has a dream, and getting down with Stephan, and then at some point she imagines Damon, and I was just like, no, girl, get him out of your head. But then you realize that it's maybe Damon doing that whole thing with her, which is so crazy. It's so wild. But I mean, I guess it is what it is. I'm trying to think. Oh yes, there's also like a later part in the episode where Elena is sleeping and Damon is like stroking her cheek, and this is another part of the episode or rather the show that reminded me of Twilight. Like I did not make any promises. I'm going to be referencing Twilight. But there's a part where like he's staring at her while she's sleeping, and that just reminded me of Twilight because would do the same, which is an interesting point. Um, yeah, so in terms of how I feel about these characters, Elena is still someone I want to see more fleshed out. I feel like I feel like Elena is a character who she's kind of like that blank slate. You always get characters that are blank slates in movies and television shows so that the audience can kind of like project themselves onto that character. Like, oh, Elena, she's kind of like this blank slate. Like, you as a viewer can imagine yourself as Elena getting into this like situation and dating a vampire. So it feels that way, but again, I'm only 3 episodes in and I feel like Bonnie is more developed as a character than Elena, but I don't know, that's just me. Also, talking about Bonnie, still my favorite. She had like the visions of the numbers, like 8, 14, and 22. And then the night that I think he's the history teacher and the football coach gets attacked by Damon, she sees those numbers, and I was just like, oh, flip, her power's coming through. I want to see more of that. I'm looking forward to episode 4 of the series. I'm finding it to be really interesting. Let me know down below, what do you think of Vampire Diaries? Are you liking the story? Have you finished the show? Did you grow up watching it? I would love to know down in the comments. If you love film, television shows, and novels, please consider subscribing. Put the notification bell on so that you don't miss a video. And of course, give it a thumbs up. But with that said, I will see you in the next one. Bye.